Welcome back, Padres fans, to America's #1 ballpark. My name is Jesse Agler, and you know who that is, my radio broadcast partner.
What's up, everyone?
Tony Gwynn Jr.
Good to see you guys all out here enjoying FanFest today. Got a good show for you guys lined up.
We always got a good show. That's kind of like what we try and do for everybody. We got a very special leadership forum coming up in a couple of minutes. After that, we're going to be giving away a staycation prize package to Sequan Casino Resort. So you don't want to go anywhere. And Don and Mutt are going to be back at about 1:30 with some of the Padre pitchers who will be up here. So thank you for coming to FanFest. Thanks for coming and hanging out here. And without further ado, let's bring these guys out here. We've got the CEO of the Padres, Erik Greupner. General Manager, A.J. Preller. And the manager of your San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, is here. Thank you, sir. Hey, not bad for year one with Mike Shildt, huh? All right, we know everybody's got a lot of questions, and we're going to provide as many answers as we come. And Erik, I want to start with you as I just kind of look around here at FanFest and the way we've looked around at everything that's gone through, this organization's gone through the last few years. You've been here a very long time. What we have seen in this ballpark the last few years, what we've seen at FanFest the last few years, it's not exactly how it used to be. What's changed here these last few years?
Yeah, and I've been with the franchise for my 15th year. Seen a lot over those 15 years, but nothing like the last few. And it really all begins with these amazing fans that we have and their support, their belief in what we're trying to do, which is to win a World Series championship for San Diego and these fans. And, you know, we have an ownership group that's invested in payroll, invested in the ballpark, and that's caused a lot of belief, and these fans have shown up. The best fan base in baseball. I hear that all the time. And it's not even close. And so I think there's a real belief and conviction that we're gonna find a way to get over that hump and win that World Series championship with the core group of players we have right now, the excellent work that the two guys to my right do, both managing the team and building the team. And I can't wait for spring training to get rolling and to have you all back here for opening day.
Let's talk about that a little bit. AJ, you know, coming off of last season, another postseason run. How do you build off of that, what you were able to kind of put together last year?
Yeah, I think it probably starts with figuring out the odd year, even year thing. So we've been good in the even years. We got to get to the odd year thing here so far. But no, I mean, I think, again, Mike, myself, it's constant conversation. You know, I go back to the clubhouse last year, you know, when we lost Game 5 there up in L.A., and the emotion, seeing a guy like Manny Machado in tears talking about, you know, just talking about the team and the group and what it means to him. The guy to my right, Mike Shildt, the way he brought this team together last year. You know, the guys are back and super hungry. And I know going into this off season and you know the last few months, just guys that kind of left that stadium in LA knowing we've got another step here. And our offseason from our players in terms of the work they've put in, being ready for Peoria in a couple weeks. We've taken a lot of steps with the group that's currently here. You know, Machado, Tatis, Xander, Cronenworth. Those guys are constantly talking together with Mike, and they're going to come into spring training ready to go. And that's really where it starts, is that group kind of setting a tone and a culture and a standard, and building off of that. And that's what's got us super excited.
Mike Shildt had an incredible year one as manager of this team, and I know, Mike, you appreciated, yeah. You appreciated the fans an awful lot. Formally, in conversations we would have with the media, to the fan base, you're on the top step of that dugout. You probably feel it and hear it as much as anybody can in the building. What did this group mean to the success your team had last year?
I mean, they really are, and people say this cliche, but this is the best fan base in all of Major League Baseball right here. And you know, I go out early for the games, and one of the reasons I go out early is I just want to spend about 10 minutes just to absorb and get a feel for the ballpark and just to get to appreciate the people coming in, you guys spending your hard-earned money, your passion, your drive, your love, and I can feel that you're with us on that field competing with us and our players, so we're very grateful for that. The other thing that's, the other thing that's really impressive, so I go to the winter meetings and we go have meetings with the commissioner's office with all 30 major league managers. I won't mention which ones they are, but I was in a circle of managers. 6 different managers said the hardest place for their team to come play is Petco Park.
To kind of piggyback that, Erik, we got towards that last week of season and into the postseason, and you heard a lot of the opposing teams really talking about how difficult it was to come into Petco Park and not only win a game, but that kind of intimidation factor that this ballpark is having on the opposing team. It's got to be a sense of pride for you.
Yeah, it's amazing. When we went through the postseason last year, I was getting text messages from people I know in the NFL, the NBA, other baseball teams saying, San Diego is popping off the TV right now. Like, your energy, your support, your love for this team was palpable and noticed across our entire country. And that's a testament to all of you. But one of the things that I think is so cool about the way you support this team and the environment that you create, which has become, as Shildt said, one of the most difficult environments for other teams to come into and play, is that you do it in a classy way, right? I think we saw some things, some other places. I won't give you more detail on that, but I will just tell you that that's not who we are, and that's not who we were, and that's not who we're gonna be. You guys do it in a positive, supportive, passionate way, and you guys are the best.
All right, AJ, couple moves this week. Elias Diaz is back, ended the year last year with the Padres. Michael King, new deal. Obviously, a roster is a thing that's constantly changing, but as of today, February 1st, how are we feeling as we get ready to head to Peoria?
Yeah, I mean, just to speak on Michael King, obviously the organization excited about getting a deal with Michael. You know, I think also the arbitration process has changed over the years. It's not really the contentious process it was, 20 years ago. But again, we take a lot of pride in treating our players well, and just, being able to line up with a guy in Michael's case who was, a front of the rotation pitcher, did an unbelievable job last year, making him feel that we value him so he can focus on baseball this year. I think it was a big step for us here this week with Michael. And in terms of like building the roster, every year is different. There's some years we've jumped out, we've made moves, early winter meetings, in November, December. There's some years we've had really super aggressive off seasons. I think you look at last year, I think our baseball group does a great job kind of understanding what values are from trades, what we're trying to do big picture wise, how we're trying to add to a championship roster. And those deals come at different points in time. So, last season we were able to add a Dylan Cease, at the end of spring training. Luis Arraez a month into the year. Donovan Solano at this point in time wasn't signed. So again, I think it's all about getting the right players in the building and making the right moves. And we understand there's a time frame for what that looks like. So again, it's not for a lack of effort from all 3 of our part. But ultimately, we're going to do something that makes sense. We're going to do it at the right time. We know we have a championship-type roster. We know we got some work in front of us. We've got to add a batter or two. We've got to add another starting pitcher or two. And I got a lot of faith over the next, few weeks and into the season. We'll keep looking to add to the roster and the team, and all with the goal of trying to bring a championship here to San Diego.
AJ is being humble when he says the process has changed. The process has changed on his end. He is unique from the standpoint of it doesn't get contentious in the arbitration. That's a unique thing to AJ Preller. Mike Shildt, the thing that seems to be popping out is continuity. You got a great nucleus here on this ball club. Toddy, Manny, Jackson. I mean, the list is long. You guys won 93 games last year, second most in franchise history. How do you build upon that in year 2 of this train that is seemingly going down the tracks pretty quickly?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, continuity allows us to have consistent, sustainable success. You know, that's the thing that really is appealing to me about being a Padre and being here over the last 3 years. You know, we're looking at having already in the middle of, but looking to finish out even in a bit more celebratory fashion with the World Series at some point this decade. But this being the most, by far, you know, consistent, sustainable on-field success decade in Padres history, and continuity leads to that. You know, the organization has already established that before I got here. You know, the ownership, leadership, the gentleman to my left with Group, and then AJ. I mean, let's stop for a second. AJ Preller's done a phenomenal job of putting talent on this field. I mean, you're talking about, you know, exciting players that have been locked up that, you know, our fan base, you guys can identify with. Gwynn mentioned it. You know, you're talking about Manny, Crony, Toddy, Bogey, Darvish, and of course our homegrown dude, Mr. Musgrove. You know, these are our guys, right? And then we're adding to the core. You know, you're talking about Jackson. You know, Michael King got signed. You know, we got guys that are coming up, and Salas and DeVries. So the immediate's in a really good spot. The future's in a really good spot, but it really is important that continuity take place, and we can do this together, because that just allows us to understand how we operate, and, you know, including our staff. You know, we got a great pitching coach in Ruben Niebla. We're tied together, thankfully, for the next several years. Victor Rodriguez, our hitting coach, our entire staff's back. So the more we can be together, operate together, you know, the wheel only goes faster. So I couldn't be more excited. I know this guy to my left's going to and has done everything he possibly can to provide us everything we possibly need.
A lot of very talented people here on the field and behind the scenes, and as Mike was kind of alluding to, they're locked up, which is good, real good. AJ, some injury stuff to go over that we heard about over the course of last year. Fernando's leg, Luis Ariza's thumb, Joe Musgrove obviously had the elbow surgery. What can you tell us about what's going on with those guys?
Yeah, I think, you know, a healthy crew going in here to spring training. I think, you know, the two that you mentioned, Fernando, he had a good off season. You know, and just talking to him over the last few days, he's been here in San Diego and stay here in San Diego into Arizona getting ready for spring. And he said it's the best he's felt since 21, you know, and I think, you know, I think it's just great to hear. Obviously, we see what Fernando brings to the field and what he does, you know, on one leg at times last year. So I think we're super excited to see him fully healthy here this year. And, you know, he's let us know with his, you know, with his work this offseason, he's good to go. And then with Luis, I saw that the other day he's got a chance to 4 batting titles in a row. You know, if he does it this year, you're up there with the players like, you know, Rod Carew and Wade Boggs, and I think guys like Ty Cobb, and, you know, on and on. So it's a pretty special deal, and for him to do it last year, again with basically one hand, he had a thumb surgery in the off season. That he's fully go. He's swinging the bat, which he does a lot of, and we're excited to see him go out and go win a 4th batting title in a row here in San Diego. So both those guys are, you know, they're 100% coming into spring and looking forward to the year for sure.
Erik, I know for the organization and for you personally, it's very important to have a positive impact on this community. Can you tell us about some of the highlights and things that you've been all working on in our community here?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great day yesterday out in the community, almost full participation with pretty much every player on our 26-man. We went out in 4 different directions into the community. We went to elementary schools. We supported and thanked our first responders, our frontline healthcare workers, and we went to some of the most iconic locations in San Diego, like the zoo. And really, yesterday was just that opportunity for all of us to go out and say thank you to you and to our community that has been such an amazing support to this organization over the last several years. But as a professional sports franchise, we have a really unique opportunity, and our players have a platform that's really unique to go have that kind of impact like we had yesterday. And that's a year-round endeavor for us. And frankly, it's one of the greatest joys. I know I speak for AJ and Mike and Tony and Jesse. Whenever we get an opportunity to go out in the community and love on elementary school students and tell them that they're special, that they matter to the Padres, that they have a future and they have a dream. And if they're willing to work hard for that and they hear that from our players, they can accomplish anything. And that means something coming from Manny Machado. That means something coming from Jackson Merrill, who's not a whole lot older than a lot of those elementary school students. But when they see their heroes come pay a visit to their school and tell them that they matter and that they can accomplish their dreams, you see our players just come back with a full heart, knowing that they were able to really invest into our community and our future. We also started in November 2023, our Peter Seidler Legacy Project Fund. So Peter was an incredible philanthropist, and he cared deeply about our community, and he gave time and money into trying to make San Diego and Baja a better place. And so we thought there was no better way than to continue to pay homage and honor to his legacy, to start high-impact projects. His brother Tom has done an amazing job leading those. We launched our first 3 projects over the last year at the Armed Services YMCA, thank you, at the Rescue Mission Lighthouse, and also with Youth Assistance Coalition and Urban Street Angels, which deal with homeless youth here, trying to help them get job skills and break that cycle of poverty and homelessness through education and opportunity, which are things that were near and dear to Peter's heart. So we're going to keep carrying on his legacy and his name in this community through the great work that he did. And it's just a great privilege and honor for all of us, I know, to be involved in those projects and do our very best to continue to honor Peter's legacy and his philanthropy.
Mike, as Erik just made clear, this is not just an on-field endeavor being a San Diego Padre. You get to know these players so well, behind the scenes, in the clubhouse, off the field. This is a great group to be around, isn't it?
You know what? That's the one thing you can appreciate about our guys. Not only are they great, talented players, but there's the character in our clubhouse is exceptionally high. I think that was on display a lot last year. Our guys get in the community. They assert themselves in the community. Manny was our Roberto Clemente nominee last year. Easily could have won that award. He's doing everything he can. But the other thing that I'm appreciative of, yesterday we were able to get in front of the cameras and go out and do some things in the community that were public facing. But I just have so much admiration when we have, our players come in, whether it's, different individual charities or something that, is on their heart, but they do so much behind the scenes to give back, not only in their resources financially, but their time, and they do it with a real cheer.
AJ, we can't let you get out of here without talking about some of the youngins that we got down in the minor league system. I mean, this time last year, a kid named Jackson Merrill was thrust into the outfield. He went out, won that job, nearly and quite frankly should have won the Rookie of the Year in the National League. And so now you move into the next crop of guys. We're talking Leo DeVries. We're talking Ethan Salas. How do you see their paths this year in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I think two that you mentioned, obviously, Leo and Ethan have gotten a lot of attention, and they're only 18 years old. I think for us, it's never about putting a time frame and putting any kind of constraints on players. I think the players tell you. So I think like last year with Jackson, he had never played over Double-A, but the things that our development staff had done in the minor leagues, what Mike had asked from him for him in spring training, he showed he was ready to come here and play in the big leagues. So I think the same thing with Ethan and Leo. At the end of the day, I think for us, two guys that we're super excited about, got a lot of ability. Guys that I know, Padre fan base is super excited to see. You've got to be strong up the middle. We feel like we've got two more impact players in Ethan Salas and Leo DeVries coming, but this year's probably going to be a year about development. And you need time in the minor leagues to get ready to come here and play on this stage in Petco. But they're guys that, again, we just ran a mini camp here this past week, a Camp 44 for our younger prospects to get acclimated, get around our big league group, our big league staff. Leo and Ethan were part of that. But that's what it's about. You got to have that good blend of star players, veteran guys. We've tried to get it right here in the last few years, and having that young group come up and support the team, add some energy, add some youth, add a lot to our group. We saw it last year with Jackson. I think we've got two more in Ethan and Leo, and another wave of guys coming right behind that. So
it's always tough to get excited about. You better believe it. All right, one last thing here for Erik. Last year, part of what was so special was we celebrated the 20th anniversary of Petco Park. Hard to believe 20 plus seasons now in this beautiful facility.
Doesn't look like it.
It does. That's exactly what I was going to say, Erik. This place does not look 20-something years old. How do you guys do that exactly?
Yeah, Petco Park, best looking 20-year-old in San Diego. Yeah, just an amazing facility. I think, it begins with the commitment that we've had from ownership to consistently invest in this ballpark to make the best fan experience possible and really maintain this facility. I think, unfortunately in this market, we saw the cautionary tale of what happens in Mission Valley with Qualcomm when you don't maintain a facility. We don't have the luxury of letting that happen here. The Braves, the Rangers, both had ballparks that when they were about this age, 21 years old, they tore them down and built new ballparks. You can do that in Texas, you can do that in Georgia. It's not happening in California. So we got to invest. It is a necessity that we consistently invest in the maintenance and the improvement of this facility year in and year out, because our fans deserve the best, and this can be a 100-plus-year-old ballpark. This can eventually be a Wrigley Field, a Fenway Park. The bones of this ballpark are good. The location is great, and we have such an amazing fan base here. Our climate, everything about San Diego is deserving of the best ballpark in baseball, and so far we've been able to deliver that year in and year out, and we're going to keep doing that.
I know for me, just walking back in here today, I was like, all right, let's go. And I know so many of you feel the same. I heard that from a lot of people, and I have no doubt that these guys feel that very same thing as well. We've got the Saquon Staycation giveaway coming up in a couple of minutes, but first, how about a huge round of applause and thank you for Mike Shildt, AJ Preller, Erik Greupner. Thank you guys very much. Very cool.
Nice job, man.